All right, welcome to the ultimate scam off, I think. Hold on. Trying to get my thing to work. Okay, here we go. So we welcome to the scam off. So we're going to talk about Bitcoin versus Labubus. I think two very scam-esque products. Products that I would never purchase as a sane human being, or at least relatively sane. Now, I do have Bitcoin. I'm not going to lie. I do bet against Bitcoin very heavily, though, using leveraged ETFs. But we're going to compare the two scams in a scam off. Now, I will pretty much leave it for you, the viewer, to decide which is more of a scam. In fact, the best indicator would be let's do a poll. And a scam off poll. We're breaking some new ground here. We're breaking a lot of ground on this particular episode. Let's get the poll going one moment. All right, so who's going to win the scam off? This is the question that we all have to ask. And I think it's fairly obvious, me personally, but, to each their own. We all have certain things that we believe are scams and come from the origin of scamness, whatever that may be. We don't have any viewers at the moment. Do we deserve any? Probably not. But we have the poll to back up our data. Also, I forgot this isn't monetized. What the hell? Don't forget to like the video, my brony brothers. And welcome to the show. We are really getting into this. So who will win the scam off? That is the major question here. 100% of you say Bitcoin so far. Now let's compare the two. I think a scam off is perfect because, a lot of the times we don't compare the scams. We don't take one scam and compare it to another. This particular live stream is a scam off. We have to figure out which is the scammiest. They're both scams at the end of the day. Let's not candy coat it. Bitcoin's a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme, digital Ponzi scheme. And then we got my Labubus, which are demonic Chinese dolls. I have no idea what these things are. They're creepy as shit, and I don't know why people like these so much. But if you like Labubus, okay, fair enough. Do your thing. If you like Bitcoin, do your thing. But just to let you know, what you're getting into is a scam. Eddie says, yo, and then the bro code says, hi, please subscribe. Thank you, bro code. I might. Hopefully you subscribe to me. Subscribe to daddy. Subscribe to Zaddy. Here we go. Oh my god. But this is exciting, man. As somebody who appreciates a good Ponzi scheme, we're going to compare Bitcoin to Labubus and figure out which one's the biggest Ponzi of them all. So, our two contestants, who are the two contestants? Are we talking about a Ponzi versus a pyramid scheme? Are we talking about Bitcoin versus Herbalife, timeshare sales versus MLM skincare, or something completely different? That's my question. So, What are we talking about? We're really talking about just Bitcoin versus Labubu, all right? The ultimate scam off. Now, here's the origin story. Bitcoin, here are some of the facts that you need to know. Bitcoin was born in 2009 from the mind of a mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto. I think it's a group of people, by the way, who developed Bitcoin, and they called themselves Satoshi Nakamoto or whatever. It was marked as freedom money, but quickly became a speculative casino for tech bros, venture capitalists, and number go up Twitter Twitter influencers. Its origin is like a startup pitch that somehow never had to ship a real product. Now, Labubu's, on the other hand, Labubu origin story is just as interesting. It's a cutesy collectible creature from the Pop Mart vinyl toy universe. On the surface, it's art, but in reality, it's a glorified mystery box lottery that turns grown adults into plastic hoarders, hoping their $12 figurine will be worth $400 on eBay. The scam element, you don't know what you're buying until you open it. Slot machines for toy collectors is really what it is. So, the thing is, I still think Bitcoin is more of a scam. And I'll tell you why. We'll go over that here in a moment. But I want to point out something interesting about Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin, at the end of the day, is just a string of data. At least a Labubu is something. Even though Labubus are dumb. Right? We know this. But, I don't know how you guys can live with yourselves. Do we only have one vote on the poll? We'll see how many poll voters we got here in a few moments, but only got one vote in the poll. Come on, you guys. One person says Bitcoin will win the scam off. All right. Fair enough. No. My God. GGG says, how many burgers will you buy for the poor and yourself? I don't know. Can you buy me some McDonald's hamburgers, though? I need some. 'Cause I need you and I want you crawling underneath my skin. Like the hunger. Okay, so let's just talk about how they reel you in, okay? So Bitcoin's hook is be your own bank, get rich while you sleep, and this is the future, don't miss out. Basically FOMO, weaponized with cryptography. The bonus points for making people believe they understand blockchain after watching a 3-minute YouTube explainer. And now the Labubu's hook is, this one's rare. It's part of a limited series. And if you don't buy it now, the scalpers will. It's the Pokemon card formula on steroids. Mystery box addiction disguised as collecting. Interesting. Now, let's talk about the red flags between the two. Bitcoin is massive price volatility. Forever. It's always had massive price volatility. There's a bunch of pump and dump whales out there, which means that there's big financial institutions buying up a ton of Bitcoin and then dumping all of it. Yuck. Scary. And also that just makes it to where massive sell-off happens and all the diamond hand crypto bros, then they sell off all their position, then it causes a massive crash in the Bitcoin markets, which is great, by the way, because I make a lot of money off of the downfall of Bitcoin. I'll tell you that. Whenever Bitcoin goes down, I'm making lots of money. There's no intrinsic value beyond what the next buyer is willing to pay. There's a lot of environmental destruction via Bitcoin mining, just a lot of wasted electricity. A lot of wasted electricity. All for strings of data that are artificially created to be rare, by the way. That's my problem with Bitcoin ultimately, is that its scarcity is pre-programmed into the program. It's just a piece of software developed by one person. Or a group of people, depending. It doesn't matter either way. All I'm saying is the scarcity is not of nature. It's artificially constructed. Which means it has no meaning. Which means there could be an infinite amount of Bitcoin or a small amount. It just depends on the creator of the program. Play Brawl Stars. Hell no. Screw you, GGG, triple. I'm going to call you 7Gs. And then also with Bitcoin, your wallet is one lost password away from disappearing. That's another thing that people don't talk about. With Labubu, here's the thing with Labubus, man. Big red flags for the Labubus. It's a blind box gambling format, so you don't know what the heck you're going to get. There's an inflated resale market driven by hype and not demand. Artificial scarcity to keep you buying more, just like Bitcoin. Artificial scarcity, by the way. No functional utility unless you count having it sit on a shelf. Some buyers forget why they even started collecting. That's a big deal. So the whole thing is, the only reason people are getting into Labubus is because they're hoping, just like the NFT craze and just like Bitcoin, they're hoping that when they buy into it, they can then sell it at a higher price to some other suckers. Bitcoin and Labubus fall under, in a lot of ways, greater fool theory. I call it collector's theory. Sometimes it ends up being good, sometimes it ends up being bad. It's a crazy scenario. Round 4, scamminess score. Okay, so financial risk, Bitcoin is a 9 out of 10. You can lose your shirt in a day from Bitcoin on financial risk. Now, financial risk for Labubus, well, let's do a 4 out of 10, because you can lose lunch money daily, right? So that's, it's still, Labubus are at least something. Bitcoin is digital bullshit. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Digital garbage. Two votes. Everybody's saying Bitcoin, my ClickCoin. Hell yeah. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think it's a scam? Do you guys think that Labubus are more of a scam? Or do you guys think Bitcoin is more of a scam? Now, there is the addiction factor. Now, 8 out of 10. Now, 8 out of 10 for Bitcoin, because there's fear of missing out and greed never sleeps. So, yeah. You never know when it's going to go down. It could go down in the middle of the night, by the way. That's why Bitcoin's so funny. Let's see. And then 9 out of 10 for Labubu, because there is the mystery box, and that high is a very real thing. It's a form of It's a form of gambling, straight up. Let's see. The illusion of value. Now, 10 out of 10 for Bitcoin. The reason Bitcoin gets a 10 out of 10 on illusion of value is this digital coin will change the world, is what they all say, right? The problem is, the entire value basis behind Bitcoin is purely perceptual. And the same can be said for Labubus, but at least a Labubu is made out of some raw material. So therefore, it makes it sort of valuable, the bare minimum. You're still going to lose your money, most likely. I would say Labubus deserve a 7 out of 10. This tiny toy is totally worth $300, is what they say. Now, the last scam metric I will say will be this. And we'll get to comments here in just a second. The last one is victim denial, all right? 9 out of 10 goes to Bitcoin. HODL forever, bro. HODL forever. Bitcoin bros are the biggest. When it comes to denial, it's huge. The Bitcoin bros are everywhere and in your face when Bitcoin is doing really well and going up. But when Bitcoin is going down, where are the Bitcoin bros? They're hiding because they're pussies. Anyway, Labubus on a victim denial scale get 8 out of 10. They say, I'm a collector, not addicted. Liars. If you collect Labubus, the next step in your life is probably crack cocaine, just like Hunter Biden. All right? That's a bit of an extreme. But Labubus, is it possible that Labubus can lead a person down a very, very rough road? Can Bitcoin lead people to cocaine? I think, honestly, if you're into anything that has no intrinsic value but has only perceptual value, and you've convinced yourself that something that is valueless is valuable, I have a feeling you're probably going to get into cocaine more likely than anybody else. I'm just saying. So keep that in mind. All right, let's look at the comments here. We got Tim Smith in the house. Tim is saying they have combined them into Labitbu. Have you seen Labitbu? Look at it. Oh, God, no. Please say. I'm not surprised. Let's see. Labitbu. Oh, no. Is this real? Please say it's not real. It's real. Oh, no. Labitbu. What are we doing with society's going downhill? Look up video Labitbu Mania explained. Oh, shit. All right. Let's pull up Firefox real quick. I'm freaking nervous about this. Oh. Oh, God. Oh, boy. You guys ready for this? Let's do this.
This is a Labitbu. What is everybody talking about? Where did this come from? Why is it blowing up on Twitter? Why are these things being traded for about $100 per Labitbu right now? It's not an ordinal. It's something different. Welcome to the Bitcoin Season 2 breakdown, where I break down something new happening in the Bitcoin Season 2 universe. What is a Labitbu? So basically, it's a new type of asset on Bitcoin. The developer who's kind of pushing them right now and building stuff with Labitbu
Scam.
calls this new type of asset a pathology. We'll come back to that. Basically,
Pathology. Pathological liar. This is bad, you guys. This is getting bad. No, say no to Labubus, all right? Say no to Labitbus. Say no to Bitcoin. Say no to anything that says crypto, Labubu, Bitcoin. If it seems scammy, chances are it is scammy. All right, let's keep going.
The Labitbu, or a pathology, is just another place to put a JPEG, or really any type of data, on
No.
Bitcoin. It's just another JPEG in a different place on Bitcoin, and it does it a little bit differently than your ordinals.
So it's basically what an NFT is. This is just it's an even more basic NFT in the sense that because NFTs were kind of the same principle. Both are scams, by the way. This scams. NFT is a scam. Crypto is a scam. All of this is a scam. Let's keep going.
Or really inscriptions. How did this all start? It started with a hackathon a few weeks ago. So, here is PlebFi, the small hackathon down in Miami that happened a couple weeks ago, last weekend of July. And they had a conference on meta protocols, and you had a bunch of really smart devs there. At the end, they had a hackathon where you had a bunch of people, hack together cool proofs of concept. One of the hackathon projects, this team of 4 here, was working on a...
Okay. I'm looking at these 4 dudes. Trying to be fair. I don't know what this dude's doing. That stash, that porn stash and those 70s glasses. This guy is a porn director, not a software developer. This guy, okay, I can see this guy being a software developer. Okay, that makes sense. I can see him being a hacker. I see him as a porn director. I see this guy loves making PowerPoints about Labubus. That's all I can say about him. And then this guy is a hype beast. I think this is my problem with teamwork is that usually it's just this one guy and everybody else is just lazy. They don't contribute anything. This is why I hate working in a team. Because usually you end up being the one who does all the shit. Right? This is why teamwork sucks, by the way. Lesson learned to everybody. But yeah, this guy, I'm assuming, did all the hard work. In fact, if anything, he did 80% of everything on this hackathon to make a Labitbu. By the way, this guy is probably an adequate programmer. But my God, he could be taking his talents to other adventures beyond creating Labitbus. All right, let's keep going.
little idea called Labubu assets. Now, if you're not...
Oh, God, did he just say Labubu assets? Can you get any scammier than saying that a collectible is an asset? Please.
Not familiar with...
I'm going to have to interrupt this video several times, by the way, you guys. It's going to be the most annoying reaction video I've ever done. But my God.
With a Labubu. This is a Labubu. They're these like plushy type things that people are clipping onto their clothes or their purses.
Disturbing.
And it's huge in Asia. It's very similar to like Beanie Babies or Furbies or like other types of like stuffed animals, and they're blowing up. They're being traded for a lot of money, and it's a huge cultural event that is really popular in Asia. Now it's kind of popular in the United States, but it's a collectible. So you have this group of developers who says, okay, well, we have this new type of asset, and what are we gonna put on this JPEG? Well, we're going to make like a little pixelated Labubu, and here they are. They're explaining this.
So I actually have Labubu here. This is only Labubu in this building right now. It's
There was one here earlier. We saw a lady
About
with
it.
bullish action.
Dude, these people are the gayest people I've ever seen. I'm sorry. This is rough. You know, I thought I'm pretty cringy, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty bad. But this is comedically bad. Oh, go scammers. You know what? For the first time in my life, I think I'm going to root for the scammers.
Here and that
They're
lower.
Kind of funny here.
All right, we got to go. Okay, so how are we doing this?
Screw this guy.
Right,
I don't know why. Screw this guy,
So
though.
they basically explain like how to do it, and they put together a little proof of concept with like links to the various GitHubs, and then they kind of really stopped talking about it.
Like I said, this dude...
For about a week. I watched this presentation, and I thought it was really cool. So I started tweeting about it. In fact, I even wrote...
So this idiot watched the presentation and thought it was cool. If you thought it was cool, you don't live in reality. You live in a fantasy world. If you thought any of that was cool, if you didn't, if the word scam in PDF files, I think you know what I mean when I say that, didn't come to mind when watching those four guys do a PowerPoint presentation on Labubus, if those words didn't come to your mind, then you're a delusional piece of shit. The person who made this video is a scam artist. Bitcoin Season 2, this channel, I'm going to give this video a dislike, but I'm going to watch the rest of it so I can make fun of it.
A newsletter for Blockspace about it. So if you subscribe to our newsletter, newsletter.blockspacemedia.com, you can...
I'm not subscribing to that.
For free.
That's
I
too gay.
I wrote about how meta protocols were just getting a general like level up overall as serious devs were experimenting with them. And one of the things I talked about was our team, one team put inscriptions in the Taproot control block. Now, I was technically wrong because it's not putting an inscription, but they put like this new type of JPEG, the Labubu asset is what they called. And so that was a really fun idea, and it blew up on Twitter. I DM'd the dev, Stu is his name, one of the devs on the project. I said, hey.
Good Lord. I do want to know, what program is this guy using, by the way? It's his blank slate. It's got some text. Is this guy using, is he just like, what? Is he using like Google Docs or something? Like, what the heck's he using? I'm just trying to figure out, like, what is this program he's using? Because he keeps switching back to it. It's got like his entire layout for the video. It's kind of cool.
This hackathon thing, you should spin up like a little site to like let people mint. And
I may start doing the same thing with my videos, where I have kind of a layout, you know, an itinerary planned that you all can see, kind of like a table of contents. Might be a little more organized. Let's keep going.
So he did, and the site looked like this. Just a fun little open source project where you could connect your Xverse wallet, deposit 10,000 Satoshis to basically queue up the Labubus minting transaction, and you can mint it. So it...
Hold on. Let's go to labubus.com. Let's go to the official website for Labubus. Tim, I thought you were joking about this at first, but we're going down a rabbit hole. What? Labubus.com with this fucking dumb. If you have not yet swept from your mint address, you can recover here. Is this what you get? What the fuck? I am disgusted right now. Pathologies. Why would anybody program this? A Labubus. I'm losing my cool right now. Trying not to lose my cool. Let's keep going.
Started blowing up. And now they are being traded for like $100 per Labitbu on marketplaces like Satflow. So hold on a second. What is actually the Labitbu? Well, you can go to Stu's GitHub at stutxo/Labitbu-maker, and you can run this code yourself. But most people are just going to go to the front end because they don't.
Depressing. What is this? Jesus Christ. I don't know how anybody could take this seriously. Like, how can anybody in their right mind take what this guy is talking about and take him seriously? This is blowing my mind. It's blowing my mind, you guys. Don't know why.
Don't really know what to do, and that's fine. So a Labitbu is a new type of asset, and the JPEG itself, instead of living in what's called Bitcoin's witness.
Hold on, before we finish this, I do want to take a little bit of an intermission, and I do want to pronounce the winner. Announce the winner of the scam off, by the way, between Bitcoin and Labubus, all right? So the winner is Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin takes the scam off crown by a hair. Why? Because look, while Labubu drains your wallet $15 at a time, Bitcoin has the potential to wipe out your entire retirement in one bad week and somehow convince you it's your fault for not holding longer, because Bitcoin's a scam. Doesn't matter how long you hold on to it. It'll eventually go to zero in the end because it has an intrinsic value of zero. And that's it. Bitcoin wins. Actually, honestly, I said by a hair, but I think more than a hair. Whole wig. What's that, sir? Says whole tack. I don't know, dude. Bitcoin is a scam, and Labubu is a demonic doll sent from hell. I don't know. I assume it's from hell.
Data. It lives in the control block of a taproot transaction. The technical definition of that is the control block is a data structure used during a taproot script path spend. When you reveal the script from the Merkle tree instead of using the key path spend, and contains two key pieces of information: the revealed script that was committed to, and how to reconstruct the internal key. Most people don't know what that means. Let me visualize it. So go to mempool.space. Here is a block from was mined by Ocean Mining 7 days ago. If we look at the goggles, this is a great way to filter through blocks on mempool.space. We can click taproot.
This is so dumb.
We can see here's all the taproot transactions now. One of these I know is a Labitbu just because I kind of know the size of them. So let's take a look, click on one of these transactions. This looks like a normal transaction if you aren't looking closely. We can click details here. And look at this. Right here is a bunch of data.
It's a bunch of bullshit.
That if we copy all of it,
you gonna convert it into a JPEG?
An open source tool called Labitbu Extractor. We can paste that data and extract the.
No fucking shit. Are you kidding me? There's a Labitbu Extractor. This is so dumb, dude.
Labitbu, and that data turns into this Labitbu. So this is where your data lives, but it's actually, more precisely, within a Merkle tree. When you have a taproot tree, you're basically creating a whole tree of conditions that branch out, up to 128 times, and the control block is a part of this transaction, which helps you kind of decipher which path down the tree you should take. And so because the control block can contain any information because it has to contain, basically infinite conditions to go, maybe not infinite conditions, it has to contain a bunch of conditions to basically travel down the right path of this tree.
I love how they're trying to combine two scams into one, right? They're trying to take Bitcoin, they're trying to take Labubus, and bloop. If you take, so basically the whole idea is scam plus scam equals totally legit, real investment. I am going to get a Labitbu extractor. I'm going to get all the Labitbus. I'm going to right click, save as, and save them JPEGs to my computer, and then sell them on eGay. Here we go.
You can simulate that to be arbitrary data. And because we can have a trees up to max depth of 128, we can do some math to basically see that a control block can be about 4 kilobytes in max size, which is why this is about as
yep, it is just a scam coin, man.
That you can put into this control block. Thanks for staying with me. Let's get into the fun part. These are, because they're different than inscriptions, they're difficult to filter. Or they're probably difficult to filter. Still, like, figuring out if people are able to filter these from their blocks. So we know how to make a Labitbu, or rather the asset which is called a pathology. How do we trade it? Well, we can use ordinal theory again. If you're not familiar with ordinal theory, that is how we actually trade inscriptions. Your inscription lives on a particular ordinal or a Satoshi, and we trade that Satoshi back and forth. The same thing.
I'm so fucking lost. But it's also like, it's not that I don't completely, it's not that I don't understand some of this. I'm just curious, how the hell are they able to decipher So there are people creating Labitbus within the Bitcoin blockchain? Is that what we're hearing? Oh my god, this is disturbing. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Applies to
even if you do get a Labitbu, I mean, what the hell's the point? Like, what is the point here? Oh no, I'm just trying to analyze the stupidity of all this. Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme. And so is Labitbu and Labubus and Lafufus. It's all crap, is what I'm trying to say. It's all bullshit.
A Labitbu. It lives on a sat, and we can trade that sat back and forth. It's actually very, very simple. I would recommend, if anybody isn't aware, go to docs.ordinals.com to read about ordinal theory and how that works. But how are these things get on marketplaces? Because one of the issues is that marketplaces don't track this new type of NFT. Wallets don't track this new type of NFT.
Of course. It's all dumb.
Like, if you send one of these outputs to your, one of these Labitbus to your Xverse wallet, it's going to look just like any other type of unspent transaction output. It's going to look just like any other Bitcoin. Well, there's a workaround. You can manually track these, or the way they got into the marketplace, on the marketplaces within, like 24 to 36 hours after Stu put out the mint site, is that another developer named LiFo comes up with an idea to wrap your Labitbu.
It's sad when software developers who have some level of talent in software development are wasting their time in the world of Bitcoin. Or maybe they're just not talented at all. Maybe that's why they're wasting their time in Bitcoin, now that I think about it. Huh.
Really clever idea. And basically, because your Labitbu exists, remember, on an actual Satoshi, it's connected to a SAT. We can basically take that same Satoshi and put an inscription on that Satoshi. So we can inscribe an inscription on top of the exact same Satoshi that your Labitbu lives on, and then wallets and marketplaces recognize that. So this is why on Magic Eden you go to see you have wrapped Labubus on this site. This is why you go to Satflow. You have wrapped Labubus. It's not recognizing the actual Labubu. It's recognizing the inscription that lives on top of the Labubu. And you can go to tx.dev.
Okay, surprisingly, it's starting to make sense, but it's still stupid. The whole outcome is stupid. Why would anybody want to do this?
Labubu to do this wrapping technique. Now, there's some details that apply. I won't get into them, but basically, you'll have to talk to Life of FIFO and ask him through his channels how some of these details. But you can do this.
I want to start some gambling.
Basically, it inscribes a mirror inscription onto the same Satoshi. When you trade that sat, you trade the Labubu. Now
I'm tired of listening to this. Hold on, you guys. I need a moment. There's only so much stupidity I can listen to in a short amount of time. Give me a few seconds. This makes me want to gamble. I'm literally pulling up DraftKings and an error as a card. Oh, okay, never mind. Did I not win any money? Did all those gay bets? Tell me I didn't win a single dollar? No dollar bills? Do I have any open ones? Okay, there's still some open ones. Will I win? I think I've lost all of them. It's still open. Damn, dude, I didn't win a single one of these. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, I still got a few of these, but damn, dude. I'm a pussy. Think I'm losing that one. What's this one? Is this a winner? Winner? Ah, shit. It's gonna end up being a loser. Damn it. Yeah, so I don't think a single one of these actually went to fruition. Hell yeah. It's all good, though. It's all good. Unfortunately. So sad. That's what I get for doing online game. I was doing like 10 set bets on DraftKings. I need to start betting on the WNBA a little bit more. I think that's the key. WNBA is where it's at.
You can list your Labubu on marketplaces. One of the key things is that while if you're buying and selling these Labubus, these do not necessarily guarantee that you are buying and selling the actual Labubu. You're selling the inscription. So users will need to do their own work to verify that this inscription ID right here is on the same Satoshi as your Labubu. I've put together a thread on this, but I won't go into that in this video. Let's get into some of the other fun stuff that's happened. Well, the Labubus took off so much that Stu paused the Mint site while he and maybe some other contributors started working to basically improve.
It's a rug pull.
Make more types. Maybe there was a whole issue of like the wrapped Labubus and the real Labubus being properly indexed and served to marketplaces. So the first step really was to
I'm done.
Make sure
I'm done. I need to stop. I need a moment. That was too much. There's only so much stupidity I can analyze until I'm just like, done. So here's the thing. I love the technological aspect behind Bitcoin. I think it's fascinating. I think the software's fascinating. I really like the cryptography. but I don't think it's going to replace money. It's a scam at the end of the day. Labubus, or a collectible item. This is a Beanie Baby craze. They will eventually go down to hopefully 0, as they should. And we'll see what happens. I'm blown away, is what I'm trying to say. Tim Smith, thank you for sharing that, man. I appreciate it big time. That was... Oh. I'm disappointed in humanity. Where are we going? We don't know where we're going. We're all screwed. If I could, then I would. I'll go wherever you will go. Let's see. Tim Smith says, I traded 3 Labitbus for 2 Labubus. Ooh! He's going digital to the physical. Good Lord, man. If anybody pays money for Labitbus, I will say that is the saddest thing. You know, I already think it's sad if people are buying Labubus for like $400 or $800 or any amount of money. But I think it's sadder if people are buying Labitbus. I think it's even more sad if people buy Bitcoin. I buy Bitcoin only because I bet against it. Now, the Bitcoin that I buy, though, is with cashback rewards that I get from my Venmo credit card. And those cashback rewards go into buying Bitcoin. And, of course, obviously, I don't believe in Bitcoin. But I do hold on to... I do... like hedge. I like having a hedge against my own bets. I think that's the smartest thing I could do. Because if Bitcoin goes to the moon, which it shouldn't, because Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme, then at least all the Bitcoin that I own, which I've racked up on over the years, will be there. And we'll have a sexy, sexy gain. But Bitcoin is stupid. It is a Ponzi scheme. It's made out of hopium. And it's bad. See You Again asks, how would you rank the top 5 coins right now for a long-term investment? None of them are a long-term investment. All cryptocurrencies are a Ponzi scheme. Therefore, they're all gambling tokens. I'm not the right person to ask this. However, we can ask ChatGPT. Do you guys want to ask ChatGPT? Let's ask him real quick. Let's pull up our ChatGPT. I have a viewer who wants to know what the top 5... Who wants to know the top 5 coins to hold long term? I'm going to tell you that they're all scams and that none of them are worth holding long-term. In fact, I think SBIT and Biddy are worth holding long-term because they bet against Bitcoin and all the Ponzi scheme of Bitcoin. Let's see. You're asking for the top 5 cryptocurrencies to hold long-term. A question many of your viewers are surely curious about. Here's a refined, up-to-date breakdown based on recent expert and market analysis. Okay. So, ChatGPT is saying Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Binance Coin, and then Cardano or XRP. It's all garbage. It's all of a scam. But yeah, XRP, Ripple, Cardano, Binance Coin, Solana. Yeah, it's all stupid. Final thoughts for what ChatGPT is saying is long-term crypto investing is inherently speculative and volatile. As noted by major outlets like Barron's and Reuters, even top-tier assets like BTC and ETH ETH face regulatory, technical, and sentiment risks. Best practices: diversify across multiple strong projects. That's a bad practice, in my opinion, because all crypto is grifto, so it doesn't matter how much you diversify. You're diversifying in garbage, worthless garbage. So what I'm trying to tell you is it's all crap. But I did make a little bit of money today with Bitcoin dipping very hard. I constantly swing trade my SBIT. Always. 'Cause I need you and I want you crawling underneath my skin. But yeah, and I think it's all BS. Crypto, my grifto. It's all grifter currency, man. It's just as fiat as the dollar. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's a pure scam? I think it's all a scam. See You Again asks, what do you think about algo trading? They are any good? Are they any good with crypto stocks? I recently heard about Lux Algo. I got no clue, dude. I got no clue what algo trading is. All I know is that I invest as a long-term investor primarily, and 20% of my portfolio is actively traded. And the two ETFs that I actively trade that make up that 20% of my portfolio are the Bitty, my titty, and the SBIT. Because betting against Bitcoin is actually kind of fun. And it's the closest thing to gambling that I actually really do. But yeah, crypto is grifto. Best thing you could ever remember. Any other questions? See You Again is asking, do you mind sharing what ETFs you invest in? All right. Let's see what I can do. I'm going to pull up what I can. Give me 1 second, folks. Hold on. So I'm actually going to pull up part of my portfolio. But I'm going to put it up by ETFs first. So I'm gonna go by regional ETFs, which are pretty much international ones. Let's take a look here. So for my regional ETFs, get your pen and paper ready. None of this, by the way, is financial advice. Just want to give you guys a heads up, not financial advice at all. So we got the Vanguard Total International Stock ETF. We got, and I ticker symbol eludes me. I'll have to look into it real quick. VXUS is one of them. Actually, let me just do this. Just whatever I see, I'm just going to tell you what I have. None of this is financial advice. I'm just going to show you guys what I got. So the two actively traded ETFs in my portfolio are the BITI, which allows me to bet against Bitcoin safely, fairly safely. And then the other is SBIT, which is it's another way to bet against Bitcoin, but it's a little more volatile, which I like it that way. And then I have the VYM, which is going to be the Vanguard High Dividend Yield ETF. That one just has a lot of high yielding dividend stocks in it. It's pretty nice. It's pretty well valued, and it grows pretty well. I got to give it props. It's a grower and a shower. I like it. I got the VT. This is the Vanguard Total World Index. I'm also going to tell you guys like individual stocks that I have. I'm not saying you should get into these or anything. Not financial advice. Talk to a financial advisor. But if you guys are curious, since you guys seem to be curious about it, I'll reveal my portfolio. It's a bit long-winded. It's a very long portfolio. And I own a share of each of these, by the way. Prologis, which is PLD. Own a share of that. Crown Castle, which is CCI. And then SPY-G, which is an ETF. It's the Spider Portfolio S&P 500 Growth ETF. Very sexy. Let's see. Oh, and then there's Citigroup, which is ticker symbol C. Very good one. It's a financial institution, obviously. I do love Citi. I have a Citi credit card, so... Then we got the VNQ, which is the Vanguard US REIT Fund. Like I said, for each of these, I only have one share. Now, I will let you know if I have more than one share, but for each of these, I just have one single share of all these different individual stocks and individual ETFs. And then I have the IEFA, which is the iShares Core MSCI EAFE ETF, which is basically international for the most part. It's kind of like I don't remember which parts. I think mainly Europe and stuff, but other international areas. And then we have the IXUS, which is the iShares Core MSCI Total International Stock ETF. Sexy. It has over like 4,252 holdings, which is crazy. We have the WFC, which is Wells Fargo, just individual stock right there. Pretty good company. I like it. Then we got BSV, which is Vanguard Short-Term Bond ETF. I like my bond ETFs. I think bonds are great because they give you a fairly guaranteed yield. I wouldn't say completely guaranteed, but virtually. And if it's a diversified bond ETF, it's even better. We got DLS, which is the Wisdom Tree International Small Cap Dividend Fund. We got DIM, which is the International Mid Cap Dividend Fund from Wisdom Tree. AVDE, it's Avantis International Equity ETF. Pretty good. We got ARE, which is Alexandria Real Estate Equities. And they're a pretty good REIT. They're a real estate investment trust and pretty solid. They got a pretty nice little dividend. And we got National Health Investors, which their ticker is NHI. Another REIT. I love my REITs. I will say you guys are going to see a portfolio that is littered with real estate investment trusts. That is one thing that you will definitely see in my portfolio quite a bit. And then we got ADC, which is Agree Realty. And then we got SPHQ, which is it's an ETF. It's the Invesco S&P 500 quality ETF. Very solid. We got the VXUS, which is the Vanguard Total International Stock ETF. This one's actually kind of crazy because it holds 8,622 different international companies. It's a lot of holdings, man. That's wild if you think about it. Let's see. And then we got KO, which is Coca-Cola. One of my faves. And then we got Kroger, which is like basically like Fred Meyer, stuff like that. Got a pretty good position in them. VEU, which is the Vanguard FTSE All World excluding the US ETF. Pretty good. I love my international ETFs mainly because, like I always say, it's very difficult to get a hold of international companies if you live in the US. You have to, the best way to get exposure to them is through exchange traded funds that do the purchases of those companies on your behalf, essentially. So ETFs are a very cost-effective way of getting international companies in your portfolio without actually having to go do the heavy lifting to get them. So it's a plus. And then we got BNW, which is the Vanguard Scottsdale Funds Vanguard Total World Bond ETF. So it's pretty much 50% of the total bond market for the US and then 49% of the total international bond market. Is it worth it? I've got at least a share in my portfolio. Like I said, I like to be exposed to bonds. I love bonds, and that's one of them. Then we got Cisco Systems, CSCO. Love Cisco Systems. I love Captain Cisco. Let's see. And then CVS, which is obviously in the more healthcare side stuff. They're kind of down at the moment. My position's at like minus... Ooh. I'm in the negatives. I'm down 9.46% all time for CVS. Oh no. That's okay. I don't really pay that much attention to share price. All I care about is the company good? Does it have cash flow? CVS isn't too bad. And I only own a share, just one single share of CVS. We got VTR, which is, let's see. VTR is Ventas, and that is basically another like it's another real estate investment trust. They acquire and own a bunch of senior housing and healthcare properties, which is pretty dope. And then from there we got Sundial, which is pretty dope. We got Main, which is Main Street Capital. They're not bad. They've gone up quite a bit over the time. Oh, we got Yager's Farm in the house. What's up, dude? See you giving the kissy emojis. Thank you, Brony brother. Appreciate it, man. My man. But thank you for joining, Mr. Yagers. But yeah, Main Street Capital. Then we got the other one that I have in my portfolio is the DGRO, which is the iShares Core Dividend Growth ETF. What else we got here? And then we got KXI, which is iShares S&P Global Consumer Staple Sector Index Fund. Basically another international one for the most part. And then we got MO, which is Altria Group. They're pretty good. That position's done very well for me over the years. So, and they pay a pretty sexy dividend, which is what I like. Ultra Fire says, "Yo, buddy, what up, Ultra Fire? Get it, my man, get it." Then we got BXP, which is they're a real estate investment trust. They own a lot of Class A properties. It's good to see everybody in here, though. It's pretty dope. And then we got WPC, which is WP Carey. Pretty good little real estate investment trust for the most part. Another fantastic one. We got EWX, which is another. It's Spider's S&P Emerging Markets Small Cap ETF. Good to have in your portfolio at any time. And then UL, which is Unilever. I got this is an ETF. It's the Spider S&P Bank Fund. It's KBE is the ticker symbol. Yeah, that one's gone up quite a bit over time for me. Then we got VEA, which is the Vanguard. Oh, I already went over that one. Okay, here we go. Then we got Realty Income, ticker symbol O. Oh, but no, I'm a big fan of Realty Income, though. They're one of my favorite REITs. I don't own a ton of shares. In fact, I only own one at the moment. But it's one of my favorite REITs because I do like seeing that monthly dividend just come in. I'm addicted to dividends, though, man. I'm really a long-term investor. People think because, my boy Strongman, as much as I love him, he may think I'm a bit of a degenerate because I love my dividends. And I really do. It's kind of an incentive to hold. And the taxes are not that bad on dividends, at least for me. It could be worse for other people. I don't know. But as far as it goes, it's more advantageous for me to be a dividend investor. I don't have to sell any of my shares. I get constant streams of income coming in on the side. It's a win-win situation overall. And I really do love it. Then we got JEPI, which is the JP Morgan Equity. It's JEPI. It's JP Morgan Equity Premium Income. It's a pretty good one. We got USRT, which is the iShares Core US REIT ETF. Another solid. We're getting some solid names in this. Getting a lot of solid ass names, man. By the way, let's take a look at the poll. Who will win the scam off? We got 8 votes. 88% of you said Bitcoin. 12% of you said Labubus. Oh my god. And then we have the JEPQ, which is the JEPQ is the ticker symbol. They're the JP Morgan Exchange Traded Fund Trust. NASDAQ Equity Premium Income. So it's another one of those like covered call, kind of like derivative income ETFs. It's actively managed. It's really nice though, because I only own a share of it, but I get like every month I get like 44 cents, 49 cents. It does vary. Don't get me wrong. These do vary because derivative income can vary depending on market conditions. And then we have the SCHD. This is one I actually own 2 shares of. This one's the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF. Everybody was freaking out about this one dipping a little bit, but it doesn't matter. I'd buy more of it any day of the week. It's got some good holdings. Dude, it's got like Chevron, Pepsi, Altria. It's got like everything that you want. And these are kind of like blue chip companies. Dependable cash flows, that sort of thing, but then we have SLG, which is SL Green Realty. They're pretty good. It's another real estate investment trust that I happen to love. But yeah, all my REITs have done really well in overall price appreciation, and they've consistently paid a pretty good dividend because the cash flows are beautiful. This is where we get into the weeds. This is where I get a little more ashamed of my portfolio. So this is where I have the Yield Max ones. This one's APLY, Yield Max Apple Option one. I get about $1.64, $1.08 every month. I get about at least $1 or more on that one. So it for income, it's nice. For price appreciation over time, not nice. But yeah, it's not too shabby. And then we got the SPYV, which is the Spider Portfolio S&P 500 Value ETF. Let's see, that one's done pretty well. Then we got the QQQI, which is the NEO's ETF Trust NASDAQ 100 High Income ETF. This is another one of those covered call ETFs. I know not a lot. Some people are not fans of these, but I personally love them. I think they're fantastic, and they add a monthly income to your to everything. So it's like this. There's a win-win. It's a win-win scenario in my opinion. Not always the best, but for the most part, pretty good. And then there's the SCHA, which is the Schwab US Small Cap ETF. There we go. And there's the XLF, which is the Financial Select Sector Spider Fund. Pretty good. Another financials one. So you get kind of diversified within the financials, like banks and stuff like that, credit card companies. I love these ones. Like this one's got Berkshire Hathaway in it. It's got JP Morgan Chase. It's got MasterCard, Visa, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, you name it. It's got all the good shit in it. And then we got EPR, which is EPR Properties. They're paying a dividend coming up here pretty soon. Heck yeah. Anytime I can get a dividend, man. I love my dividends. And then I just take those dividends and just invest them in other ventures, other companies, that sort of thing. And then we got SPYI, which is NEO's S&P 500 High Income ETF. Another one of those like covered call ETFs, which is beautiful and brilliant and sexy. Very good. And we got KNG. It's another one of those target derivative income ones. I love derivative income, man. I'm all about that life. I ain't gonna lie. And then we got another Yield Max one. I'm not a fan of these, but I have them in my portfolio anyway. JPM Option Income Strategy. We got pretty good payouts, actually. $1.53, 83 cents, $1.18, $1.68, that sort of thing. Not too shabby, but the losses have been kind of crazy for it. Not too bad, though. Losses actually haven't been too bad for this one. But yeah, like I said, I get very high income out of the deal, so it kind of doesn't matter to me. We got BNDX, which is Vanguard Total International Bond ETF, which is pretty good. It's pretty solid, actually. It's another nice little source of income. Monthly income, you know, every month get a nice little 10 cent, 11 cent consistent coming in. And got SPHD, which is the Invesco S&P 500 High Dividend Low Volatility ETF. Very sexy. Let's see. Then we got ENB, which is Enbridge. And they're, let's see. I think they're an ETF last time. Not an ETF, sorry. I swear they're a real estate investment trust, but I can't be certain anymore. Oh, nope. They're natural gas and stuff like that. Okay, sweet. I almost forgot about that company, man. I own so many different individual stocks and ETFs that it is funny because I do tend to forget what some of the companies do, even though I invested in them a while ago. Bristol Myers Squibb, yep, that's a good one. Bank of America, that's one I've had for a while. I do love my Bank of America stock. They are a pretty decent company. They're one that's grown over time. They're the biggest bank in the world. And then we got the VNQI, which is the Vanguard Global X US Real Estate ETF. Basically, it's this international real estate investment trust for the most part. A lot of interesting ones out there. A lot of different groups. Pretty wild. But hey, real estate's real estate, man. Any exposure I can get to real estate, I take it. And then we got JPRE, which is JP Morgan Realty Income ETF, which is essentially just a REIT. All it is a REIT ETF. And it's got a fairly high expense ratio, to be honest. I'm not a fan of it. That's like the one downfall to it. That's why I only own like a share of it, you know. But the yields are pretty good. Give them props. Amazon, let's see. Yield Max Amazon one, that's kind of a hit or miss BS one. But I get a pretty good dividend every now and then from it, so it's a win-win. Got US Bank, had them for a while. Great company, great bank to own. Then we got IUSB, which is iShares Core Total US bond market. I can go on and on with these. Sorry about that, you guys. I've been going on and on with this one. Eric Reborn says, why did YouTube recommend me this? Michael, are you my long-lost brother? Brother? That might be the case. I may be your brony brother. 3 viewers in the video is on my front. Maybe we're brothers, man. We're brony brothers. Do you look like me? Are we like the same dude, basically? We like clones? Attack of the Clones? Yeah, anyway, I could go on and on, but as you guys know, I got a very diversified portfolio. Perhaps too diversified, but I get a dividend every day because of it, so every day that there's a trading day, I should say. But I get monthly income, quarterly dividend income. It's just like I get dividends thrown at me through all my holdings like all the time. Eric Reborn says, no, not at all. Lol. Eric says, I got IWM, bro. Hell yeah. Hey, just as a quick thing, to you guys, if you guys could help the channel a little bit, I have a favor to ask. So I do have in my profile description some affiliate links, and I may earn a small commission at no extra cost to you guys. But it does help the channel if you guys do find a product that I like to promote that you might be willing to purchase on Amazon. It does help support the channel big time, and I just would greatly appreciate anything you guys could do to help out. You guys don't have to, but I really would appreciate it more than you guys can know. See you again says, man, thanks for sharing. What's the total value of your portfolio across? I'm not going to reveal that part of it because I have multiple brokerage accounts. I was only reading from my Robinhood account, so, but I try to avoid going over the total value of my portfolio. I like to keep people guessing on that one. But let's see. Eric Reborn says, just clicked the chair and it's a bouncy ball. That's cute, bro. Yeah, dude, I love this stuff, man. This is it, the bouncy ball, man. That's all you need. So who will win the scam off? 78% of you say Bitcoin will win. 22% of you say Labubus will win the scam off. Okay. That's fair. I need my Lafufus. And my Labubus. All right, you guys. I gotta admit I'm a little tired at the moment. But I do want to say thank you for viewing. Appreciate it big time. As usual, I'll try to always do more videos just because it's fun. Eric Reborn says, half of my portfolio is Dogecoin. I'm going to not say that word, but look, that's a bad move, in my opinion. If half of your portfolio is Dogecoin, you're a gambler, you're not an investor. Just make sure you're aware of that. There's still hope, you know. If you're at least aware that you're making a bad decision by having a ton of crypto in your portfolio, whether it's Dogecoin or Bitcoin, it's all the same. It's all garbage. I think the most important thing is to get into stocks, commodities, and have a little bit of bonds in your portfolio. And the best way to get exposed to bonds, in my opinion, not financial advice, but is bond ETFs. I love commodity ETFs. I love individual stocks. I love index stock ETFs as well. But yeah, that's my portfolio kind of in a nutshell. Just a lot of different ETFs, a lot of different individual stocks. There's really no true rhyme or reason to how I weight my portfolio. It's kind of goes like this. I see a good company or I see a good real estate investment trust and I'm like, I want to add that to my portfolio and I want to never sell it. That's about how it is. That is literally how my mind works. I don't really think about the weighting of my portfolio. I could care less about how my portfolio is weighted. It really doesn't matter to me whatsoever. I just want to be exposed to as many different companies and just as many assets as I can get exposed to is really the key. And I do love stocks. I'm really a big stocks fan. Stock market's the best. It's pretty tight. I didn't drink some water, though. That's what I realized. I got a bit of a headache. But I do want to thank you guys. I just want to say this, man. Stay diversified, but stay diversified in stocks, stay diversified in bonds, even stay diversified in commodities. There's various commodities that you can get exposure to. You know, it's just smart to have a very spread out portfolio. And look, if you want to have some crypto in your portfolio, hey, you have at it. Eric says, I want to buy Home Depot right now because there's a lot of new homes being built in my zip code. Eric also says, and ChatGPT told me Home Depot and REITs and stuff do well when housing prices are stagnant. Absolutely. I love real estate investment trusts. I'll be the first to tell you that my portfolio is riddled with real estate investment trusts. Mainly because the income that comes in from the dividends is beautiful. And also, you know, it's exposure to real estate. Rent usually ends up going up. And I have international real estate investment trusts. You name it, man. I got a lot of different ones out there. And I love them all. They're the best. But yeah, stay diversified, man. That's really the key. You know, don't be reeled into the next shiny object. You know, if you feel like a company's going to do well, buy a share, maybe 2 shares, but don't go crazy. I think over concentrating into one specific company is a bad call unless you really know the company's in and out. But if you're just an outsider and you're not an insider, you know, proceed with caution. Proceed with caution. Anyway, I'm a little tired. I got to do some stuff around the house, but I do want to thank you guys for viewing this episode. Just have an incredible rest of the day. Have incredible rest of the night, too. BB Sarah says, bring back Beanie Babies. I'm buying the dip on tulips. Got a good sense of humor there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you could buy Beanie Babies on eBay. And but by the way, with the comparison of Labubus to Beanie Babies, how much do you want to bet Beanie Babies? The price of those are actually going to go up just because of the people talking about them again. That's what I think is going to happen. But anyway, I'll catch you all later. Thank you for taking the time to view this episode, and I'll see you guys later. Eric says dog money. Hell yeah. I don't know what that means.